Hi guys, so in this video I'm doing a full face drugstore tutorial, and all the products are really affordable and can be found at any drugstore. And for the eyes, I'm using the Walking the Red Carpet palette by Wet n Wild, which is part of their spring line, and the other palette from their spring line is called Flirting at the After Party, which is like a purple theme palette. And I asked on Instagram and Facebook which one do you guys want to see first, and you said the brown. And so it's sort of a gold brown just because there are like golds in here. So yeah, it's really pretty, and if you want to find out how to get this look, then just keep watching. Taking my L'Oreal True Match foundation in Nude Beige, I am just dotting that all over my skin and buffing it in. And it is a little dark for me right now, but the next shade down was way too light, so I figured it'd be better to go with the darker one, just because I've been tanning recently, and it's almost spring and almost summer. So you're supposed to go darker in the summer and spring, so I just went with the darker one. So yeah, I'm just buffing that in and taking it down my neck and just all over my face. And this foundation is very buildable, so if you want a very full coverage foundation, I would try this one. Then with my Maybelline Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser in Fair Clair, I am just doing a V shape underneath my eyes to conceal any dark areas I may have, and also to highlight because I do not have a drugstore highlighter. So I'm just going to use my concealer. And I'm also taking it around the sides of my mouth to get rid of any fine lines, and down my nose to highlight. And I'm also taking it right underneath where I would contour to give the contour more contrast when I contour. And so then I am just dabbing that with my finger to help blend it into the foundation. Taking my Maybelline Dream Matte Powder in Beige, I am just tapping that on my face. I'm not really moving my brush around, just pressing it into the foundation I've put down. And you don't really want to move the brush because you don't want to move the foundation. You just want to set it and keep it from moving around throughout the day. And then I'm taking my e.l.f. eyelid primer and just priming my eyes. And then taking this sandy brown color from the palette, I am just sweeping that into my crease as a transition color for the darker colors I'm going to be placing later. And then taking the next darkest shade, I am just placing that right in my crease and just trying to focus it right in my very crease to help deepen up the crease and help it transition even more from the darker shade I'm placing down next to the lighter shade I just placed down, and then out to my skin. And then taking the darkest brown in this palette, I am placing that in the very half of my crease just to help deepen that very outer corner, but I'm not taking it all the way in because I don't want to close off the inner part of my eye. And I'm sorry it's a little blurry, my camera wasn't focusing. So yeah, that is basically just what I'm doing. And then I'm going back in with the brush I used to apply the first color and just blending it out, and then reapplying the medium brown and then the darker brown, and just building it up so it transitions nicely but still has that color that I want. And then taking this dark gold color, I am placing that on the very outer third of my eyelid. And then taking the next gold shade up, I am placing that in the middle of my eyelid and blending it into the darker color. And I'm sorry it's a little bit blurry in spots, but you can get the gist of what is not blurry. And it's really an easy step, just placing it in the middle and blending it in. And then taking the lightest gold shade in this palette, I am placing that in the inner corner of my eyelid where I left a space open. Going back into that middle brown shade, I am just taking that along the outer half of my lower lash line to help smoke out the look more. Using my Maybelline Eyestudio gel liner, I am just doing a line from the inner half of my eyelid out to the end of my lashes, just to give my lashes more volume. I am not going in the inner part of the eyelid, though you can. I just want volume. I don't really want you to be able to tell that I'm wearing eyeliner. And this is a great way to add volume to your lashes if you have really thin lashes or short lashes. Then taking my L'Oreal High Intense Pigment Eyeliner in black, I am just putting that in my waterline and tight lining my upper lash line. Which, if you have sensitive eyes, I probably would just skip this step. I really don't have that sensitive of eyes, so it's really easy for me to do, but if you do, I really don't recommend doing this because it can irritate your eyes very easy. And then I'm just applying my Mega Plush mascara by Maybelline and just curling my lashes and applying a couple layers of that. And to keep mascara from getting on your eyelid, you should look down into a mirror and be able to see underneath your lashes and start from the root and just drag it up. You don't want to be looking straight at the mirror or up because that's just going to get it on your eyelid and ruin your eyeshadow. And then taking this medium brown from a Wet n Wild palette, I am just filling in my brows. And I just kind of underline the beginning of them and then fill in the ends and the tails. And then for the front, I just kind of flick my brush up just so there is a little bit of shadow, but not that much because I want the inner part of my brows to be a lot thinner and lighter than the rest of my brows, because that is how your brows would naturally be. And then taking Wet n Wild eyeshadow in Berlee, I am just using that as my brow highlight and applying it right underneath my brows and blending it into that light brown color. Then taking my Wet n Wild bronzer in Ticket to Brazil, I'm just taking that from the tops of my ears down towards my mouth and along my forehead and temple, and also along my jawline. I'm taking it down along my nose to help slim it more. And to give my lip a more pouty look, I'm taking it underneath my lip. Then with a clean brush, I'm just going back and blending out the harsh lines of the bronzer. Taking my Milani Baked Blush in Carolina, I'm just placing that on the backs of my cheekbones and dragging it down onto my apples of my cheeks. This blush is very pigmented, so be careful if you do use it. You want to use a very light hand when doing it. Using my Revlon lip gloss in Crystal Lilac, I am just placing that on my lips just to give it more of a sheen. And this is the final look. It's really simple and those products are so easy to get, so I hope you like it and subscribe to my channel for more videos.